Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's...
He who?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all.
What do you think about everything we've learned?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy... As for the Renans...
How so?
Coexistence between Dahnans and Renan. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renan. So... to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is...
You kept a pretty level...
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, but at the same time...
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Dahnans have against the Renans is long, and understandably... And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same... Yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it.
Even just among the Dahnans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that...
Well, first we can try to figure out what...
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get...
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the...
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that, in a worst-case scenario...
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway.
That's an interest...
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put us... It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that...
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Dahnan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking... If Renans end up living together with Dahnans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dahnan. Dahnans probably won't be so quick to let their...
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy...
Yeah. I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to... So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a...
Rinwell.
That great spirit, Dana's will, feels so warm and inviting.
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here...
Maybe. But regardless...
We won't.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only...
Really? You've never struck me as...
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memory started coming back...
It was really that...
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else,
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen.
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad. That was no way to live. But all this talk about other races and the world ending...
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all...
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled...
The thing that's most... All I want to do is protect the people...
Not every...
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was... Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of...
Yeah. I'll fight to protect the people.
I apologize for making...
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away and...
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shionne. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis, or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of
Menancia's fate was a stroke. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now...
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. On that note...
Oh?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator, so that the Renans can... As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say.
And I take it that you'll be...
Yes. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society with... Is it too...
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised...
That's some high praise, Al.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I...
Thank you, my friend.
Well, it sounds like learning from their past and using it to...
What about you, Shionne? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, I thought I'd die alone. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it was Naori's hope that somehow, how it fell on us, of all people, to...
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff, like, she said that the first step down that path was for each of us to... That means forgiving other people. Even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past, either. Conflict... If we have any hope of moving on and building... It's trying to rob us of our entire world. And it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Shion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though.
While the main body resides...
Shion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire... The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns' connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Our minds are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renis Alma stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you...
More importantly, who do they think we are?
I just hope
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships the people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly...
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed.
Right.